Hi everybody, this is Harmony with Harmony Stitches and welcome to my channel. Here we talk about my crafting journey, which usually revolves around cross stitch, but there's always some knitting and crochet thrown in. Well, not always, but every once in a while. Thank you so much everyone for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and hang out with me for a little while to see what I've been up to in the last week or so. I really do appreciate it. I like the comments, I like the likes, I like the views, I like you just spending some time with me. I do know that everyone's really busy and they got a lot of things going on, so I appreciate that you chose to spend 20 minutes with me hanging out and listening to what's been going on. So let's go ahead and get started. This last week I was still recovering from the virus, and while I was getting better, I was really tired and didn't craft as much as I would have wanted to or what I usually do, but I did get a few things done. So throughout the week, I did work on my sock for summer sock camp. I worked on my hat, and then I started cross stitching again because last week I really didn't cross stitch at all, I don't think. So let's get started. Let me show you what I've done. So first, I did decide on my socks that I was making for summer sock camp. This is pair number 3. I'm using Happiness by lolodidit, and this is from the Quotable Dumbledore Club from a couple years ago. I think it finished up right before COVID started, I think in 2019. This is Happiness, if I didn't say that already. And I chose the Devil's Snare pattern by Lueder. She has a whole line of, a whole series of Harry Potter socks up for free on Ravelry. Now, I will say, this is kind of a review of her patterns. She writes them as if knitting on 2 circular needles, which is kind of like magic loop, but a little bit different. And she doesn't really explain any further than that. She just assumes that you know what's going on, and sometimes it can be a little bit hard to follow. So if you have sock knitting experience, then you should be able to get through the patterns. But if you don't, I would try knitting some other socks first before you dive into hers. Also, she's not consistent from one pattern to the other. So the Hermione's Everyday Socks and then the Devil Snare socks use the same stitch count, but she doesn't use the same process for like the heel flap and some other things from one pattern to the other, even though they have the same stitch count, which I thought was really strange. But like I said, if you can filter through all of those things, if you have enough experience knitting socks, then you'll do just fine. This one, I did go through, I scrolled through the projects because she knit these ones what am I trying to say? Too many stitches. There was too many stitches. The sock was not going to fit my foot. So I decided to scroll through the projects to see if anyone else tweaked it down to 56 stitches, because that's 56 or 54. Anywho, 56, I think. So that way it would fit my foot. And so I did, and I found someone, and she said that she did it like this, and because of the lace pattern on the front of the leg, and I found it and I made it work. And now I did make a couple of mistakes, but it really overall did not cause any trouble to the sock. Now, I will say I have no idea why I'm having such a hard time this year with my socks, because last year I blew through the socks and I didn't have any trouble at all except for trying to learn how to stitch tantamount. And so I just gave that one up and moved on, and I was fine. I knit 7 pairs of socks. So I'm just blown away that I am having so much trouble, but I screwed up on the heel turn. I was off by 1 stitch. And then, so when I was doing the gusset stitches, I then had to make accommodations for being 1 stitch off. Well, then when I was doing the toe decreases, I ended up with 8 stitches on one needle and 7 stitches on another needle. So I fixed it the way that I thought I should fix it, and it didn't quite work out. I mean, it worked out, but my toe is just a little, like, a little crooked. So I think, yeah, it's just a little crooked. So with that being said, if you figured it out, I got my sock finished. So this is the lace pattern called Devil Snare. And if you know Harry Potter, then you know that the Devil Snare is actually like roots or vines that entrap the children. And so I did think that choosing the green yarn that I had left over was perfect. So I did decide, because I was having so much trouble with the lace pattern, just to put it on the leg and not continue it down the top of the foot, because I still have a second sock to go. And I just felt that because I was having so much trouble, I was never going to make it through the second sock. And I've always completed my socks. So even if I found a pattern that I didn't like very well, I've always completed them. So I found that I needed to just make an adjustment and just do it on the leg, and which is fine. So I like it. I do like it, but it was difficult for me. I don't know why. I was just having trouble. So I did do 56 stitches on a US 2 needle for those. So I did get that finished. So now I need to cast on second sock and then my hat. And I think it was yesterday, Sunday, July 3rd, that I'm like, okay, I've got to get these things done. So I knit my sock, finished it up. I was really close. I only had a couple more rows, and then I needed to do the toe decreases, and those don't take very long at all. But then I said, okay, you've only got like 9 rows left on this hat. Let's do this thing. So I did, and I finished the hat. And this is the Chiltern hat by Theresa Shingler, also found on Ravelry. And this is not a very expensive pattern. So if you like to do some color work, but easy color work because it's slip stitches and not stranding, go ahead and give it a try. And I do, even though I was concerned at the beginning of this project that the contrast between the two shades, the Abyss and the Jade, were not enough, I do think that it really does make a striking hat. I still do not like the Tweety bits, but it is what it is. But I really do like it. I really do like it. And it did not take me any time at all to finish up the last 9 rows and then to weave in my ends. But I got all my ends woven to my sock, and I got the ends woven to here. So they are done, and this hat is ready to be washed. So I'm excited about that. So that's 2 finishes. Even though the sock is just 1 sock and not a pair, it is a finished item, and I'm super excited for that. So then it was Sunday the 3rd, and I was a little behind on my Patriotic stitching because I did not stitch on Saturday or Friday the 1st or Saturday the 2nd. So I got started, and I pulled out Lady Liberty by Keslyn's. And actually what I did before I got started is I took stock of all my current whips that could be considered patriotic, and then my anything that I had in stock in my stash that I had floss for, or that I could possibly start. So I wrote it down, and I made goals for everything. So Keslyn, or Lady Liberty by Keslyn's, I decided that I wanted to try to put in 1 strand per day, and that was about 160 stitches. Doesn't sound like much, but 160 stitches doing 1/1 on 28 count is a lot. And it takes less than an hour, but it's a lot. So let me show you. I did a strand yesterday on Sunday the 3rd, and then a strand today, July 4th. And don't mind my strands. I'm pulling my end up to the front, so that way when I add the next strand, then I can stitch over the back. So it is on the front. So again, I'm stitching this upside down. So this is what it looks like when I'm stitching, but this is actually what it's supposed to look like. So I have 4 strands into this so far, and I'm hoping that by the end of the month, I will have almost half of the blue section done, the blue wing. So it'll be these 6 stars is where I'm working. So I'm hoping that I get that part done. And that was just a rough estimate. I'm not really sure if it's going to work out or not, but we're going to give it a try. I'm stitching this on 28 count white Monaco 1/1 using classic Colorworks, Blacksmith blue, and ribbon red. So that's really exciting. I'm excited to see what kind of progress I can get with this by the end of the month. There's still, what, 27 more days, 26 more days. Who asked? I don't know. I can't count. Okay, so the next whip I pulled out and wrote a goal for is Stars and Stripes by Prairie Schooler. If you're new here, I really enjoy Prairie Schooler, mostly the Halloween ones, but I have, other ones as well. And this is one. My daughter liked this one. She is a huge American history buff, and she really liked this. So what we decided to do is to stitch them in pairs. Instead of as all individuals, we decided to stitch them in pairs. So I started with Abraham Lincoln and George Washington. She wanted them to face each other. So I pulled this out, started this yesterday evening after I got my strand into Lady Liberty, and I was able to finish Abraham Lincoln's block. So I have one pairing complete, and that met my goal. I wanted to finish a block on this, and I met my goal. However, since it didn't take me that long, if I find myself finishing another goal, or, I have extra time, then I would like to get back to this to start another block, because there are 2, 4, 6, 8 of them all together, and I only have 2 done. And that's not even counting the little mini one, so there's technically 9, which that one's not going to take very long. It's only 32 by 27. Okay, so this whole project is going to be stitched on Ivory 28 count Monaco that I picked up from somewhere using the called for DMC. And there's only 5 colors: white, 420, 803, 815, and 898. So I got one pairing done, and on to the next pairing, which I think I'm going to do the whale and the ships next. So those will be one pairing. And I chose that because the whale has a lot of blocks of color in them and a little bit less. I mean, you have to still count them. It is counted cross stitch, but the borders around Abe Lincoln and George Washington had a lot of counting to get them all, and so I'm like, I need something a little less. Okay, so then I'm going to talk about the plans for my other pieces. I find that I only have 2 more whips to work on, and the first one is Memorial Day by Hands On Design. And this is the one that I actually forgot to show you because I had to skip a week from filming, and I started this on Memorial Day. So this is like a whole month ago that I totally forgot to show you. This is also on 28 count white Monaco. I started stitching this after I filmed on Memorial Day, and I said I'm going to stitch this for the rest of the night. This is how far I got. 2 strands, and that is it. A strand on the clothesline pole and a strand of the grass. That's it. So my goal on this one is to give it 3 days, and that would be morning stitching. Well, not morning stitching, because I'm going to stitch Lady Liberty in the morning, see if I can get that done before work. And that, so it'll be lunchtime stitching and evening stitching. So 3 days of that, and I hope to just get as much done as I can. I am using, let's see, the DMC conversion that's listed on the chart for this one. And I've had this one kitted up for a while, so I am excited to get some work done on it. The other one is Lady of the Flag. And this is where she has been sitting since the end of May, because I did not stitch on her at all in June. So this month in the Michigan Cross Stitch group, for the Traveling the USA Challenge, we are going to, where are we going? Hartford, Connecticut. And for me, it's 806 stitches. So my goal for the month is to get 806 stitches put into that project, so I can, you know, make that challenge. But I did not even put one stitch into it, so I did not get to finish that challenge last month. So I do feel that since I'm the one hosting the challenge, I probably need to get my butt working on that one. So, okay, so then the only start, I have two starts. One is by Hands On Design. It's Seasons in Chalk, Stars and Stripes. It's a collaboration between Kathy from Hands On Design and Priscilla from Stitching with the Housewives. And I'll put a picture in here because I don't have a hard copy. I don't think I have a hard copy of that one. I have a digital copy. So I have all of the floss for that one. I bought it in the last batch of floss that I got, you know, picked up when it was on sale. And then the only other one that I was thinking about starting is the Liberty Eagle by Blackbird Designs. I think I have some of the flosses. If not all of them, I might have enough to get started. So Liberty Eagle. And this is my daughter said that she thought that this matched the whale from Stars and Stripes by Prairie Schooler. And I think she's kind of right. It kind of goes right along with the aesthetic of the other chart. So if I have the flosses for this one, I will go ahead and get started on it sometime. And my goal for this one is 3 days. And I think that's all. I didn't bring my notes up here, so I can't remember if I'm missing anything. But 3 days on Memorial Day, 3 days on this. 1 strand into Lady Liberty by Keslyn's. A block on Stars and Stripes by Prairie Schooler, which I got that done already. And 806 stitches into Lady of the Flag. So that's a lot. Plus I want to get my other sock cast on and kind of work on that here and there as well. So we did get a new air conditioner, so it is nice and cool downstairs. The reason why I didn't stitch anymore on Memorial Day is because it was so hot down there. We had 2 days in Michigan that were high 90s. Right on Memorial Day, and I think either the day before or the day after, and our air conditioner needed to be replaced, so it was so hot down there I didn't stitch. I got the 2 strands in and I had to call it a day. I didn't want to get my fabric all messy from sweat and oil, and yeah, it was a mess. So the only purchases that I have are 2 skeins of floss, and it's for the bee pattern from Amy Brucken Designs. My husband went to Saginaw the other day and I said, hey, since you're going to be right over there, can you pick up the 2 yellow that I need for that pattern? And he said, sure. So I just need to cut some black off of my cone that I picked up a couple of months ago. And that one is all set and ready to go. It does use B5200 for the eyes, but there's like 2 stitches. 4. There's 4 stitches of white, and that's also, I'll just borrow that from a different pattern, because 4 stitches is like not even, you know, a half a strand or anything. So I think I can find some white scrap around somewhere. Well, I think that's all that I have to share with you this week. It is really warm up here upstairs since we don't have air conditioning, so I better go back down and get some ice water and get cooled back off. So in the meantime, before my next video, I hope that you were able to get some inspiration from this video on whether or not you're going to maybe pick up something that you haven't worked on in a while, or maybe even try something new. I hope you get some crafting time in, and I'll see you next Sunday. All right, bye.